When life's too much and you just want a break, we got you. Come join Dr. Gladys Otto, Ulla Gaudin, Toan Lam, and Kirk Nugent as we spill the tea on living your best life without the spiritual and self-help jargon.
It's so funny how things show up in life and how we didn't even plan on having any sort of like, what segment A, B, or C? It looks like there is no segment, right? But you know what's interesting is as you guys are talking, I'm like, oh, this experience and this experience, it all makes sense now, you know? And I always told my students when I was teaching at a couple universities in San Francisco, I'm like, all the random, what seems like random little experiences you have, it's like dots that are just thrown everywhere, scattered everywhere. And then once you start learning, you start connecting the dots. And one thing y'all don't know about me, Gladys, I don't even think you know, and you know me the best out of like most humans, is that when I go to weddings, I don't give two fucks. I'm out on the dance floor, I'm like, hey, hey, you know, like, and I'm dancing. I don't care. And, you know, I used to think people would be like, I'm like, sometimes I go to these weddings or, you know, and it's like, you know, we're in Spain and like it's a super stuffy conservative, maybe family or somebody that's, you know, member or somebody. And then I would, you know, I just do me. And then all the wallflowers, it gives them permission to step up. And, you know, at this, you know, wedding that I went to where I thought, oh, wow, the family members, some of them are very conservative. I mean, literally, the dad came out of the dance floor, started like dancing with me, the grandfather, and like you have different generations of people that are coming to dance. The grandma in a wheelchair wanted to dance with me, you know, and here I was in my own head thinking like, oh, I can't be myself. So this is everybody's permission slip to just, you know, just be you.
Oh
and
my God.
you can give to the world is being yourself.
So, honey, now that you're talking about how you dance on the dance floor at weddings, I'm realizing that I did see you because there was a whole commotion of some guy going like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh my God, who is that guy? And that's why we didn't meet that night, because I probably would have been so turned off, because the flip of what you're saying, honey, is, and it fits so beautifully, you being you is going to give permission, right, to those that are waiting to see if it's safe to go out on the dance floor. And it will deter others to be like, who the hell do they think they are, because of their own insecurity. And that's okay. That's part of us all being authentic in the moment. But how beautiful that then you and I finally did meet in San Francisco, and now the whole like full circle moment, it's like, oh my God, like look at where you were at that point in your life, Gladys. That was too much, because you were still dimming your light, you were still being controlled, you were still being proper, diplomatic, and you were sitting next to your father, and there's no way you're gonna be like, you know, let loose. So it's beautiful, honey, beautiful that you brought all of that out through how you show up on the dance floor at weddings.
Your vibe will attract your tribe.
Yeah, I love that. You're just full of all these like, they're no longer tweetables, right? Anyway, you're full of all these like amazing quotes. The vibe.
Your vibe will attract your tribe.
Yeah, I love that.
So if you are authentic with your vibe, you'll attract the authentic vibe. If you're authentic with your vibe, you'll attract an authentic tribe.
I love that. And when you do hide yourself, then the other people like you can't find you. So like stop hiding, right? So two full circles, Gladys. This is my flip side of the story. So I didn't meet Gladys at the wedding because I was being too extra. And Gladys was at that time when I met you. You were very controlled, everything was very perfect.
Yep.
And one day, my friend was like, I'm in downtown. I'm going to meet Gladys, who I've been wanting to meet with for a while. You need to meet her, Toan. That day, I just happened to like have a meeting that was rescheduled. And I'm like, I'll meet you down there for a quick drink. Sure. And then we make the connection that Gladys and I were supposed to meet at this wedding. And we're like, oh, of course. And then, of course, when I went to Gladys's house and she came to my house in San Francisco, we literally, you guys, had the same bed frame. We had the same random, very rare antique thing, but she had the male version and I had the female version.
Yeah.
Like, it was kismet. And we are exactly where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
no matter how tough it is. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. Being somebody who used to be like, well, you're not dealing with 4 family members, and 2 family members have cancer. The other 2 are elderly, and they all died in 1 year. But you know what? That is where I needed to be, and I need things I needed to learn for me, and that's caused my evolution and my soul to expand so much more. So we're always supposed to be where we're supposed to be exactly right now too in this conversation. Because I would always hear from Gladys.
Wait. Why is Kirk laughing so much? What?
Why are you laughing?
My sixth sense of humor.
Well, share it.
Huh?
Share it.
Well, Toan was talking. He was like, when Gladys and I met, then I had the male part and she had the female part. I'm like, that's pretty much how we met as well.
Well, Gladys and Kirk used to date, y'all, so that's why.
Oh my God, actually, Kirk! Okay, you tell the story. How did we meet? This is funny. Talk about like funny.
You want me to tell the story how we met?
Yeah, and then I'll tell the quick version. Yeah.
Okay. Toan, were you done?
Oh no, I was just saying that genders don't really matter, because what I said earlier was I had maybe the female version and she had the male version. So anyway, I'm
right.
good.
Well, it was
okay, go ahead.
So I had someone handling my calls back then when I was getting booked, and she called me and told me this university in California want to book you, and they only have $2,000 in the budget. I'm like, nah, tell them to go fuck off. $2,000? Are you kidding me? To come to California? So she went back and she told whoever she spoke to, she was like, no, he's not coming there for $2,000.
Which I'm unaware of, because I have a team that's managing the event, right? So all I know is this is a guy that I want.
Okay. So I guess there was some back and forth, and then she ended up speaking to Gladys. And she came back to me and said, well, I spoke to the president and she wanted you personally. I'm like, why? There's speakers in California they could get. She said, well, her spiritual advisor told her to get you. I was like, what?
You're like the spiritual advisor, better pony up.
Gladys is lonely.
A spiritual advisor? Set up a meeting. I got to talk to her. So I got on the phone with Gladys, and Gladys was just really, really sweet. And she's telling me, she wants me to come out there, and she's seen my videos on YouTube. I'm like, you know what? No problem. I got you. I'll be there. So got to California to do what was that, San Jose?
Yeah.
Got to San Jose, and then right before the speech, we were taking pictures together. So we both had on the robe, right? And I hugged her, and something moved.
Okay.
And I said, what's your name again?
Oh my God.
But again, it evolved into this amazing friendship, because again, Gladys said she doesn't speak to any of her ex. I'm like, well, you're gonna speak to me? And the friendship, I think Gladys had a past life regression as well.
Yeah.
And it was found that we used to sit together with each other where, you were without legs or something like that, Gladys?
Yeah.
And we were just like best friends. We would sit and just talk.
Yeah. And
then I'm noticing in this life, that same relationship is playing out again, but it's playing out on a much higher level. And I knew, once we connected, this wasn't a passing relationship. No matter what happened, it would be a lifetime connection. And I don't think Gladys knew it at that time, and she probably think I was bullshitting. But 10 years later, damn near 9 years later, we're here.
I know. And it's amazing, you guys. So I learned about Kirk. Actually, I was working with a healer at the time, well, yes, they're spiritual. Who a year prior to that moment said to me, hey, I want to share this video with you. And whatever I was going through, it was like an inspirational thing for me to kind of lift me up a little bit. So she sends me Kirk's Pursue Your Passion video on YouTube, and I watch it. I'm like, who is this guy? He's amazing. I mean, if you guys haven't seen the video, go watch it because it's powerful. And I watched it. I'm like, okay, received. That's great. Blah, blah. Went about my business. Now I'm like, at the university and I have to shut down the school. So come graduation, I knew in my heart we needed a keynote speaker that was going to change the energy of the entire community. And immediately was like, oh my God, it's that guy. That guy that did Pursue Your Passion. That's the guy. But you guys, I'm working for the National Hispanic University, right? At our last graduation ceremony, because we had to fucking shut down the school, I'm the newbie president, and now I'm going to bring some like Jamaican black guy like to speak at the National Hispanic University when all they've ever had were Latinos. And so I had to now go to my executive team and be like, look, this is the person. If you guys have somebody that has the ability that this person has, watch his videos, that can transform this community's energy, that can inspire us to something bigger because we are in crisis situation, bring their name and we're all going to choose together, right? And I already knew, it's already done. It's gonna be Kirk. And so, yeah, then they're like, well, we can't find anybody better. So I got permission to go ahead, and the event team was the one coordinate. So I had no idea that Kirk had ever said no. And then fast forward to the ceremony, when we actually met, you were very quiet and your energy was soft. And it was not this big on stage performing energy that I saw. And I was like, oh, wow, that's actually what drew me to you, Kirk. More was that softness that you had and your quiet nature. And then when we hugged, I was like, wait, he's cute. Wait, why am I thinking about him being cute? I'm about to speak in front of 1,000 people, and why am I thinking about him? And does he have a girlfriend? And that was like what was going on in my mind at the time. And then after the ceremony, it was, it happened. But isn't that amazing? Little seeds being planted.
And one more thing, we started talking, and then again, I'm seeing Gladys as the president of the university and the doctor of psychology, and I'm telling her some stupid joke about South Park and Cartman, and she's cracking up. So I'm like, oh, she actually has a sense of humor. So that's the thing, because I have this weird I want to say weird sense of humor, but I'm witty and I have a dry sense of humor. And the stuff that I was talking about, Gladys really appreciated. And if you know Gladys, she has a very authentic and infectious laugh.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Thanks, honey. It sounds like a witch's cackle.
No, I love it. No. And then Kirk, my thought went to too, because I'm inappropriate at many times actually. But she was like, I loved his softness, and then I'm like, wait, but he said he was hard.
I
know. He's telling you earlier in a different conversation, don't say soft around me.
I know.
But again, that's the two different personalities showing up, because before I go on stage, I'm introverted, I'm quiet, very, you wouldn't even know I'm in the room, because I'm just observing, I'm watching everything. So when I get on stage, I can really command everything. So I'm taking in all this information, but I'm very quiet. And also I'm very soft-spoken. I remember, just quick story, and we'll be done with it. When I was performing as a poet, and my name preceded me, people in Florida knew me. They knew, okay, Kirk Nugent is coming, but they had no idea who Kirk Nugent was. So I remember I came down there, and the host said, okay, coming to the stage is Kirk Nugent, 1999 New York Grand Slam champion. And this girl now, who was a friend of mine, she said, when they said that, I saw you got up, and I said, I wish this little motherfucker would sit down so I could see Kirk Nugent. Because she thought I was some 6'5", the way everyone was like, oh my God, you gotta hear him, you gotta hear him. But she said, you were just this little dude who just, 5'10", barely 120 pounds, and just went to the stage, and then your voice was so big. So that, again, the poetry, that's what brings me to life. That's my thing. You put me on stage, give me a microphone, and I'm gonna kill it. And I'm alive when I'm behind the microphone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it. And honey, Ulla, what is our story? How did we, like, you tell your version of it?
You want the very short, condensed version because that's what I do. Those are my speeches, very short and condensed. Now, we actually met at a event in Chicago, 2017. I was in an online community with two of the other girls that we know, and Gladys was in another online community with them, and then they had convinced Gladys to come to this convention or seminar, whatever it was called, to Chicago, and I think it was in a hallway. We met in a hallway,
in a lobby of the hotel.
In the lobby for the first time, and as soon as I saw Gladys, I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do something there." But I couldn't tell her anything because she was still very much, everything's perfect.
Mm-hmm. And controlled, and I know it's coming ahead of time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and everything, all the pieces have to be together before we say anything. So, but 9 months later, we were in the jungles of Colombia together, whitewater rafting and camping in the areas that were closed for public for a long time because of Pablo Escobar. And
Wow.
then we started a podcast. And the beginning of that podcast is funny because Gladys still was very much, okay, all the pieces have to be perfectly, and they have to fit together, and we need a script.
Yep.
And
oh yeah,
this is how we're gonna do it.
Yep.
And so we tried the script version, and it was so bad. It was so bad.
It was really bad.
And then then I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just record. Let's just talk and record. We did that. I published it, and then told Gladys we had a podcast, and it's published.
Yep. And that was a big lesson too, because when we tried to make things happen with a plan, shit would happen, like technology wouldn't work, our connection would break up, we'd get like, called in a different direction, like, oh shit, I gotta go, like just things would happen that made it very clear to me at some point. I think I said this to you, honey, like you need to lead this, because the way that I'm trying to do it is not working. And it was that controlled way, like we need a plan, we need to do, and I was doing it like, best practices, but it didn't work. And I think that's one thing that I'm so grateful that we were able to learn that together, to trust both of our abilities to just show up for what is, and your ability, honey, to know, like you knew that is actually where the magic would start to happen. I didn't know that. I had to learn to trust that. But fast forward now, I think there's this amazing like clarity that I carry, which is, I'm not going to do the fucking like spreadsheet to analyze how many likes or not likes or comments I got to then determine what's next in my approach to how I show up online. I'm not going to do that in my life anymore. I'm showing up for the moment and letting life happen for me. This is like letting life reveal to me what's next, and then just following it little by little. So, with that, Ulla and I are so clear now that is our approach to how we do business, right? Like, yes, can we, add a little bit more strategic and, contextual stuff? Absolutely. And that's part of my journey, is that I felt like I had to let go of all of who I was, which includes the brilliant event planner, which includes the amazing experiential maker, which includes the perfectionist and the organizer, of everything. Like that is part of me. And I felt in some ways like that didn't work anymore. And I had to just like let it all go. But I think I'm realizing like bringing that in and like I was sharing with you, Kirk, harmonizing that. And then this is the next iteration of, no, all of me gets to be part of this now. All of us, every parts of us gets to be part of this now. And because I now know this is my preferred business strategy because of what Ulla and I have done. Ulla and I were very clear that we were going to be recording these sessions of ours to get to know each other without you guys knowing. And so now we have, I think, 5 episodes already done. So congratulations!
You have been recorded this entire time, Kirk and Toan. We got the episodes.
I know.
Wow.
And you guys, this is it. I didn't even talk to Ulla about it before it happened. Last week, something in me was like, just record this shit. Record it now.
Yeah, and I was thinking it like before we started. I'm like, I hope she's recording. I hope she's recording.
This is fun.
To me. Yeah, it's really.
It's fun. It's effortless, and at the same time, we know that whoever we're supposed to reach and connect with, we'll reach and connect with, because you never know what you're saying and how it's going to affect people. Again, Gladys made this post about fuck it, and I'm sure she was just, I'm making my post, and that's what I'm thinking, not knowing the ripple effect that it will have.
Totally.
It's the same thing with all this conversation that we're having. We have no idea the ripple effect that it's going to have, but we trust that the people it needs to reach, it will reach effortlessly.
Yeah. You know, I'm leaving this conversation today feeling like my battery on my cell phone has been charged.
Totally. Me too.
You know,
I love
for
that.
me.
Yay.
Yeah.
I love this. I really, really, really love that, and I second everything Toan said. Because that's all we can do. We can only be ourselves, and if we don't take care of ourselves first, can't take care of anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
And I am Gladys has heard this from me several times, that I want other people to feel what I feel, and I say that selfishly, because when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, it's another day. I want every single person to feel that, to be able to wake up in that, versus where I woke up 30 years ago, dreading every minute of the day and being afraid if I'm going to be hit again, or all of that shit. So I want people to feel that.
I'm just glad I get to play with you guys on a regular basis. So
Likewise. Yay!
thanks for taking a break with us today. We can't wait to see you again soon to bring you more delicious conversations that help you break into a new way of living, loving, and being.